Welcome, family. Today, we're diving into an important and frankly much-needed conversation. How to deal with shoulder chips and stank attitudes still plaguing Moorish women while maintaining poise and dignity. Now, we all know that when we embraced our true Moorish identity, we left behind the confusion of the label black. But sometimes, as we've all experienced, that old behavior can creep into our spaces. And we're here to talk about how we can handle these situations with grace while keeping ourselves firmly grounded in the high standards set by our ancestors. We'll be using a recent experience as a backdrop for today's lesson. Picture this. A woman who claims to be Moorish joins one of our study sessions, but her actions, her energy, her whole vibe is still rooted in that black mindset, interrupting, complaining, criticizing our format, and then continuing the drama days after the session ended. Sound familiar? Maybe you've seen it yourself. So, how do we deal with this kind of energy while staying rooted in poise and dignity? First, let's define what's going on when we encounter this kind of behavior. We're talking about rudeness, constant interruptions, negative energy, essentially, a woman still acting out her old self. And we know that our ancestors and Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught us to move above and beyond that. The Muslim Girls Training Guide teaches, our words should be carefully chosen and spoken in quiet tones. Boisterous, loud voices are a sign of vulgarity and show a lack of refinement, page 16. This is exactly what we're seeing when women bring that negative energy into our spaces. That loud, disruptive behavior is not only distracting, it pulls us away from the purpose of our gathering. But it's not just about the noise or the interruptions, it's about the deeper impact on the group dynamic. These behaviors fracture unity. The Muslim Girls Training Guide reminds us, we must recognize the necessity for unity and group operation, page 12. If we are focused on addressing one person's negativity, we lose sight of what we came together for, learning, elevating, and unifying. It's important to remember that we are cultural torchbearers. The Muslim Girls Training Guide tells us we must work in thought, words, and deeds to become perfected and of the noblest character, page 7. If we allow these disruptive energies to dominate our space, we are not honoring the legacy of our ancestors or the divine standards we hold as Moorish women. Now, how do we respond when we're faced with this behavior? It's easy to get frustrated, trust me, I know. But as Moorish women, we are held to a higher standard. The first and most important step is to stay grounded in your dignity. Reacting with the same negative energy is exactly what we want to avoid. Remember this from the Muslim Girls Training Guide. Do not rail or brawl against anyone. Do not speak evil of others in their absence, page 19. This is a reminder to keep our composure, no matter how tempting it might be to match someone's rudeness. So, let's say someone interrupts you in a study session. Instead of raising your voice or getting defensive, try this. Wait for a natural pause, then calmly say, "Sister, let's allow everyone to share without interruptions so we can maintain the harmony we're striving for." Simple, direct, and respectful, we're setting boundaries without losing our dignity. And what if the interruptions continue? We can still remain poised. Here's another approach. "Sister, I understand you have a point to make, but we must be respectful of each other's time to speak. We value your input, and we ask that you wait until it's your turn." This lets the person know their contributions are welcome, but they must align with the group standards. As the Muslim Girls Training Guide teaches us, we are taught that Allah hates boisterous, loud, or rough voices, page 21. So, in keeping our tone calm and our words respectful, we model the very behavior we expect from others. This not only preserves our dignity, but it shows other sisters how to handle these situations without reverting to those old ways we left behind. Now, what do we do if the sister doesn't change her behavior? If the rudeness, the complaints, and the negativity persist? We must remember that not every space is meant for every person, and sometimes the best thing we can do is lovingly guide someone out of a space where they are not aligned. It's important to offer these women the opportunity for reflection. You might pull them aside privately and say, "Sister, I noticed some tension in the last session. We are all striving to be our highest selves here. I encourage you to reflect on the standards we hold and how you can help uplift our sessions." This allows her to consider her behavior without feeling attacked. The Muslim Girls Training Guide advises, seek not to find fault in your sister or brother. Correct them in the strictest privacy. Page 13. This is key. We address the behavior, not the person. We give them space to grow. But if the behavior doesn't change, it's okay to suggest they find another space that better suits their current mindset. You might say, "Sister, it seems this format may not be a good fit for you. We respect your journey and encourage you to find a space that suits your needs better." There's no shame in acknowledging that not everyone is ready to meet our standards. The Muslim Girls Training Guide reminds us, cast out all rotten apples quick. Keep your ears and eyes open to those smart, crooked deceivers who will always try to put one over. Page 14. We have a responsibility to maintain the integrity of our space, and sometimes that means guiding someone out so we can keep our focus on uplifting fallen humanity. Sisters, dealing with negative behavior isn't easy, but it's necessary. And as Moorish women, we have the tools to handle these situations with grace, dignity, and strength. We know the standards we hold ourselves to, and we cannot let anyone, even those claiming to be Moorish, pull us back into the behaviors we've left behind. Remember this: we are the mothers of civilization, uplifted and perfected with national standards which make us holy and make our nation free. The Muslim Girls Training Guide, page 1. When we hold fast to these standards, we elevate ourselves and the entire nation. So the next time you encounter a shoulder chip or a stank attitude, breathe deeply, stay grounded in your poise, and remember the high calling we've been given. In doing so, we not only protect our peace, we become the example of what it means to be a virtuous Moorish woman. And to those of you who are just joining us or considering becoming a part of this beautiful sisterhood, this is a taste of the deep, meaningful work we're doing. We're not just here to study, we're here to grow, to uplift each other, and to embody the high standards our ancestors set for us. I can't wait to dive into this discussion with all of you. Remember, our goal is not just to respond to negativity, but to transform it through the strength of our example. Join us each first and third Sunday as we continue on this path of elevation together. And for those of you who are new, consider this your invitation to join a sisterhood dedicated to the upliftment of all. Thank you for joining me today. Stay tuned for next week's lesson, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Let's continue to grow and elevate together, sisters. Peace and love.